The electric shock. We use a number of electric gadgets in our houses. While using them, we may get a shock owing to some defect in the power supply, or because of our carelessness, we may get an electric shock. We may also get an electric shock if we use loose switches or wires without insulation. The dangers of an electric shock. When electricity passes through our body, we get an electric shock. Our body parts undergo a certain suffering. This is called an electric shock. If the force of electric currents is less, it will push the body away. If the force is more, the body gets attached to wire or the appliance used. First aid for an electric shock. If any person receives a shock, the main switch of the power supply must be switched off. If the victim gets attached to the wire or the appliance, do not touch him. But he must be separated from electricity using a dry stick. If you find that the victim has difficulty to take breath, give him artificial respiration through the nose or blow air through the victim's mouth by closing the nose. Then place him in the open air to let him rest. Take the victim to the doctor as early as possible. Let us be away from any kind of electric shock. Do not operate electric appliances with wet hands. You must not operate switches with wet fingers. You must wear your footwear while making electric connections. Always use a tester. Use a new wire instead of joining two old pieces of wires. We must not touch hanging electric wires. We must not dry clothes on electric wires. Lying fuses and repairing electrical appliances, etc. must be done only after switching off the power supply. If you observe smoke or spark from a switch, mend it or replace it with a new one. You should not put your fingers or metal rods in plugs or switches. We must be very careful while using an electric iron.